You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello, and welcome to the 108th episode of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined this evening by Ray. Hi, Ray.
Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
Very well, sir. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. We have Freighter in the wings, and if he can get it figured out, he's going to hop on. But if not, please feel free to comment, and we'll try to include you in the show as much as we can, or maybe the chat room or whatever we get figured out. But so
I think I heard something.
Oh, did you?
Oh, am I working now?
Oh my God, Freighter! Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you.
Windows settings, eh? Am I right?
Yeah, he was right. Yeah, for some reason, audio was coming from my record player and not my microphone.
Oh,
I could have put some vinyl on for everybody. But
say, can you scratch for us, Mr. DJ? You want to ruin your stylus for us, Mr. DJ? What yeah. So welcome to the show, Freighter. Welcome, Ray, guys. What sort of vinyl are you into?
I like pretty much everything, honestly. Mostly I like metal, but I listen to everything.
Awesome. That's great. You have metal vinyl collection, Freighter. I would not expect anything less from you, brother. That's pretty fucking sweet. Really awesome. So guys, tonight on the show for the Fallout feed, we are playing Fallout 4. We're playing the best side quests in the game. And this week we went over to Far Harbor and we played in a hotel, we played in a cola factory, and we battled a mighty monster. So we have some feedback from our awesome community out there. I haven't checked to see if we had any emails the last couple hours, but lined up here, I've got Josh and Leon, Mark with a W, Rebecca, Steve, and Jen for audio feedback. Lee, our buddy, has sent in an email with some of his theories about Fallout 76 servers, how that's going to work, and he is going to explain a couple technological side things to us that I have zero clue, so Ray will probably handle that one for us. And we also have an important question from Craig, which we'll probably start the show off with here. We got some Fallout 76 beta news, PlayStation news, some Fallout 76 intro news, some Adams for 76. Oh, just all sorts of stuff from 76 is falling out in the news world here. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're doing Brain Dead, Ablutions, and The Great Hunt. Guys, did you get to play any Fallout this week at all?
I have.
I played a little bit, not much.
And what were you doing, Ray?
I was building settlements.
Oh my fucking God, what are you doing?
And helping out the Minutemen.
Who are you, and what have you done with our host, Ray?
It's been a while, and with 76 looming, I thought I ought to dust off my my building chops and just see what it's not my preferred style. It's definitely slow. I'm leveling really quick.
Yeah,
but
it is true. Especially if you put on a bunch of like intelligence clothing. Or
so the character's pretty high intelligence.
Yeah.
And also high charisma, so that I can get local leader and all that good stuff.
Boss people around.
Yeah.
Is this a separate character that you've started to do this with, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not messing with Jeng Jun.
You don't want him making friends with the stupid Minutemen or anything.
No, she is of singular purpose. So.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So how do we think building is going to be facilitated and used here in 76? I think it came out that Todd said there's going to be like the settlement, actual settlement building, and then your camp building. There's going to be two different styles or base camps sort of things. Have you read into any of that at all? You guys heard anything about that?
I haven't heard that. I did hear that whatever you do build, you can keep.
Now, I'm not exactly sure how you distinguish the two, but from what I just skimmed an article, and there's evidently going to be camps and bases. And camps are something that you can build and build your blueprint and build every time you come back. But there's also going to be bases, which are strongholds, which you can hold and people can attack and take over and that sort of thing. And it's beneficial to hold the strongholds because there's very valuable resources somehow connected to those. And you want to hold on to those as long as possible so you can get all the resources that you can. Now, that is not your camp that you build and you can just sort of plop down anywhere and have your blueprints, and people can't fuck with that, evidently. But people can take over bases and stuff, I think. I don't know if I was misreading this or what's going on, but I was sort of trying to understand what exactly the thing is there. Also, storage. Have you guys read anything about how storage is going to work?
Not outside of the camp system, no.
Evidently, each person is going to have their own private chest that no one else in the game can access.
Can we move it?
I'm assuming it's part of your camp thing, so you can move it with your camp blueprint and stuff, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But I don't know exactly, you know. And I'm hoping there's a community chest, you know, because if we're harvesting resources... And I want, you know, I'm not online, but Ray is. I know we'll never play together because I'm on Xbox. But you know, theoretically, if I'm sitting there, I'm collecting all this shit, and I'm like, I got here, Ray, you can use all my resources to make armor or do whatever you want to do. But Ray doesn't have access, so hopefully, there's like in the camp system at least, there's like the red workbench that we can all store community stuff in. You know what I mean? I hope they do that. I don't want to have all my resources that we collect as a team that you guys can't access if I'm not, you know, on the server at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now there's certainly some hope on the horizon as far as crossplay goes, because Sony just blinked in their showdown with Fortnite.
I just read kind of skimmed another article about that and how PlayStation and Sony's they're considering bringing the cross-platform playing, specifically from pressure from Fortnite, right? You were saying, Ray?
Yeah.
Which is, the most popular game on Earth right now, destroying tons of young children's minds all over the place, right? I'm just kidding. It's very interesting. And I'm seeing other connections here, Ray. I think this, like you were mentioning, you need to get your building. And I was going to ask, why do you think you need to get your building techniques back up specifically for 76? And do you think that the building is going to be combat related? Like any sort of videos I've seen in Fortnite, it's been like people running and building walls and hiding behind them, in the middle of combat. It's not like you take a break and go build on your settlement. And it's like you build your settlement in order to fight in Fortnite, it seems. And I just don't want this Fallout 76 to become just a straight ripoff of Fortnite, which it kind of seems like they're doing, because there's other silly dance moves in Fortnite that you see pop culture references to, and it seems like they're kind of gonna do that in their photo mode in 76. You've seen people do like weird little dance moves and photo poses and stuff like that. I'm just hoping that there's a certain amount of stuff that is kind of expected of a game right now.
Yeah. And I think the gameplay will be completely different. But there's certain parts of the game that people want. They want to be able to do stuff.
Oh, you mean like a single player individual solo story, long 10-hour, 20-hour main quest line type thing?
Yeah.
Well, I get that, Ray.
It depends on how ambitious somebody else on the Xbox is, because they could make the story for you, and you'd have to listen to them because they're playing on the same server as you.
I will beat their butts. Yeah.
Then you'll have a bounty.
Oh God. Well, then we'll blow them up with nukes or something, right? Oh, geez. It's crazy. All right. So, what else have you heard from Fallout 76 news off the top of the show here, guys?
Just the release date.
Oh yeah, release dates. We were going to mention that too. Xbox One, the beta, comes out on October 23rd. And for PC, PlayStation 4, 1 week later, October 30th, day before Halloween. They just ruined Halloween for tons of little kids out there. Their fathers and mothers are going to be in the basement slamming buttons, or their poor kids are going to be, Dad, Mom. Actually, let's just dress our kids up as little vault dwellers and everyone hit the street.
That works.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So I was hopeful that it was going to be a little bit sooner, but
yeah, me too.
This is kind of more in line with what I originally thought the timing would be, and not quite as impactful as on Halloween is the fact that the PC version will be available the 30th.
Yes, sir.
I wonder, is it too late for people to buy the Xbox version just to get in?
Probably. I don't know. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, they'll still take your money. They're good at that.
Yeah. Because at one point they did have a set date you had to buy before then to get in a beta, but they rescinded that.
Oh, did they? Okay. I had missed that part. And of course, online, the general feeling is that that's way too late. You can't do a really good beta and get stuff fleshed out and get stuff working and fixed and bugs and everything, in just like 2-3 weeks, because the real game comes out November 14th. So right. It's literally 2 or 3 weeks before, depending on which system you're on. And then, everyone, all the snark police come out and they're all like, oh, guys, that means it's not really a beta. Means it's really just a server stress test. That's all this is going to be for the next couple of weeks. They're going to just work on and see how their system and the infrastructure of how the game is going to get set up. That's all they're working. The game is done. We don't get any say in that.
I don't think it's entirely true to say the game is done, but it is obviously true that we're not going to have as much say in it as we hoped.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm sure they'll be changing the game quite drastically over the first year.
Have you been beta testing stuff before, Freighter?
I've been beta testing games for a while.
Like which ones have you been a part of? Or did you have to sign like an NDA?
I distinctly remember the first game I beta tested was the original Gran Turismo online mode, which was supposed to be for Gran Turismo 3 on the PS2.
That's a racing game, right?
Yeah, but it was a total flop, so they never released it.
And as a beta, just did not function, or was it a fine game?
It was a great game,
yeah,
but the PS2 just wasn't ready for that kind of challenge.
Oh, okay. I've never beta tested anything. This will be the first time I've ever, of course, this isn't actually a beta test either. This is the first time I've ever done a fake beta test.
Right? Probably not, because Gmail was in beta for probably 12 years.
Yeah.
Oh, is it finally out of beta yet? Is that update I got a couple weeks ago? Are we finally out of beta?
Yeah, Gmail's finally out of beta.
Fucking Lord. Okay, well, I meant specifically video game beta testing. I don't know that I've ever been involved in a video game beta test. Have you, Ray?
No, not at all.
Nice.
I've never had time before.
Fun new experience for everyone. Well, guys, another thing they dropped today, or maybe a couple days ago, I don't know. I don't check the news every day. I'm a pretty bad host for a show. So finely tuned to one specific subject. I really should know more about this subject. But and the news popped out today. We have the official first couple minutes of the game of Fallout 76. You know, the little intro video clip that they make you sit through before you go through your character creation. They dropped that today. I took a listen to that. It sounds pretty cool. So I figured we go ahead and drop that in here on the show, and let's see what the beginning of Fallout 76 sounds like.
War never changes. In 1776, this great nation accepted that armed conflict was the only way to preserve our rights to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. If our founding fathers could only see us now. From Antietam to Amiens, Okinawa to Anchorage, we have fought. And now, the Red Menace is at our doorstep. Democracy itself is under threat of annihilation. That is why today, July 4th, 2076, 300 years after our great nation began, we gather together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you, the good people of America, so that if the bombs do come, if the end does come, our way of life will endure. But not everyone will be saved. Those chosen to enter this vault must be our best and our brightest. For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately America itself. So as we stand here today, we pray that the world will know peace. But if that is not our destiny, if war must come, we stand together knowing that here in Vault 76, our future begins.
Ooh, me like. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Great. That's not Ron Perlman though anymore, is it? That voice sounded different to me. Do you guys know Ron Perlman well enough to know whether that was him or not?
I'm pretty sure it was him.
That was him? It sounded different to me for some reason. He did 3 and 4, right?
Yeah, but for 4, he was the TV announcer, not the narrator.
Oh, okay. There was a different narrator in 4 then.
I think it was just Nick, the actual player character, that does the voice for that part.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Nice. All right, so any thoughts about the intro audio there, fellas? Ray, did you want to mention anything else about the Sony opens up crossplay thing? Because I sort of saw an article that maybe it's up in the air now that 76 will get crossplay, but I also saw multiple articles that say no, Sony missed their opportunity. Now we're already hit the ground running. You think they'll backtrack and circle back and include Sony in this? Make everybody
if it's at all possible, I guarantee Bethesda will try to connect to all of them together.
Yeah, money.
If they're smart, they had it set up and ready to go, and they just needed permission to hit the switch to turn it on.
Yeah, and they've pushed it hard enough themselves that I have to imagine that they're there. Because they've expressed their desire to have that all along. So
the Bethesda might have been one of the main parties in convincing them to do that. Besides Fortnite,
runner up.
Yeah. Another item. Did you guys see my post about atoms?
Yeah, that's kind of that could be good or bad, I suppose. I like who was it that made the point that at least funds it more, so we don't have to pay a monthly fee.
Yes, exactly. That is what this does. It makes the gullible and impatient people pay a few extra shekels so they can get cosmetic items only in the game, and they earn a sort of currency in this game, which is called atoms. I believe we will also have our normal currency of caps, I'm assuming, but another form of currency will be called atoms, and with these atoms, you can spend on cosmetic items in the game only. So I'm assuming no weapons. I'm assuming that's just clothing, right?
I would assume so.
Not even armor, but just clothing, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I don't
because armor and weapons would impact your strength in the game.
No. But the kicker is you got pennies. You wanna give out real money. You can go ahead and do that, and then buy your fancy hat. Get your cummerbund early. You know what I mean? Or you could just go out and get XP and earn it. You can they have achievements and little goals you can do to earn these atoms as well in game. So you don't necessarily have to spend your real money, but you can if you wish. I am a closed-minded jerk, so the first thing that came to my mind was like, well, shit, that's just like those jerks at Disney World who get the fast pass, and since they're rich bastards, they get to pay a little bit of extra money, and then they get elite treatment. Like, geez, that's just because they have more money doesn't mean you get to cut in line, you jerks. Earn your stupid hat. Go out there and kill those. I don't know. How do you think you're going to earn this XP? How are you going to earn these atoms, Freighter?
You got me. I'm completely lost on it because today is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, me too. But it just said there'll be achievements you have to do in order to get them. So I'm wondering if it'll be as simple as just killing rad stags or whatever.
Yeah, I would imagine it'll be part of your rewards for different quests and things.
Okay. Yeah, good
Because
thought.
they need to have some system involved to entice you to leave your small corner of the map. They want people out wandering around and running into other people. So
that's going to be my problem too. My instinct is to hunker down, build a settlement, take care of that settlement, get lots of cats in the settlement, make sure all my settlers have good hats, make sure the cats are happy. That's the style of game I play. I generally don't wander out too much if I don't have to. Before we close out on 76 here, Ray, why don't we go ahead and loop in Lee's email about the servers?
Okay. So Lee starts out September 9th, 2018, to forever mark the relevance of this letter, as I hate reading stuff online and not knowing how old it is.
Exactly.
Here, Lee.
Lee sent this in a couple weeks ago. We're supposed to read this a long time ago. Sorry about that. My bad.
Well, so he's marking the the date on the letter. So
he's calling us out basically before he did a preemptive call out.
Hey, it's the same month, all right. Greeting, guys and gals, from the Fallout feed. I'm just a longtime gamer who happens to know a little bit about the inner workings of computer systems. The following is solely my opinion and may have no bearing on reality whatsoever. Your mileage may vary. Hearing tidbits of the recent Fallout 76 interview, there are some players where some players tried to pull information out of Todd Howard, and the way in which he deflected and de-emphasized the question got me thinking. His point was correct in saying something like, hey, let's get it released first, is a perfectly valid and correct thing to say in this stage of development. He also mentioned saying something like, you'll always connect to each other online through Bethesda. This got me thinking about networking models, of which I know a little bit, but not nearly enough. So far, it seems that everyone thinks that private servers would work like Minecraft or Command & Conquer, if I recall correctly. where one player, usually the one with the best computer, hosts the game for their friends, either on a local area network or over the internet. Server player owned. The server is player owned. In this model, everybody buys the game once and then essentially plays for free. Remember that Bethesda said that the way Fallout 76 works is by having racks and racks of small servers on which players or groups of players are assigned to randomly selected servers, each of which supports up to 24 players. Your team of 4 can play together, but there will be no way to know which server you'll be on or which other teams will be there with you, as each server will host up to 6 teams of 4 or 24 players. This model allows Bethesda the flexibility to add or remove servers depending on how much demand there is for them, and manage configuration of each server to protect it from viruses and control costs. It may also allow them to offer services to players like Creation Club or other forms of online stores to support their continued upkeep of the server hardware and software. It's up to the players, through their willingness to purchase vanity items, to indirectly determine how many servers are available and for how long the game will continue to exist. This model is highly scalable, as the number of servers available can grow and shrink depending on the total demand provided by the players. This is a perfectly valid way for Bethesda to offer Fallout 76 service, and it's similar to how various other online games operate in recent years. The above interview fragments make me think that there's another service that Bethesda can offer. I call this service a private server subscription. This service would allow individuals or groups to rent or subscribe to a private server, which would work exactly like the current servers maintained by Bethesda, but provide exclusivity of the player base on one or more servers, so that the individual group could be able to create a community of like-minded individuals. There would be no player-owned servers. This has the advantage that the maintenance of the servers This has the advantage that the maintenance of the servers and services offered remains with Bethesda, who naturally know the most about it. It also allows for each server to be managed individually by the players or by Bethesda as a service, and opens the possibility of adding mods and other features to each server as agreed upon by the subscribers that may be developed over time. Various levels of service could determine the actual services provided in the form of server power as the hardware evolves, and the mods offered as they are developed. Mods could be curated by Bethesda, like apps are on an app store run by Apple and Google, to ensure some level of quality to keep the servers virus-free, by far the most important feature. It could be up to each group of subscribers to decide if they want to use Bethesda's curated mods or collectively curate their own set of mods, as is done with Minecraft and similar systems. Please don't think of my concept of the private server service, if it exists, as a way for Bethesda to control your game. Think of it as a way for Bethesda to finance Fallout 76 and keep it going for as long as people want to play. Take care, Lee Benjamin.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the email, Lee. Freighter, what are your thoughts about these servers? Do you know stuff about computers?
I know enough to be able to understand everything that was just said, but I wouldn't have been able to word it so eloquently.
Yeah, Lee obviously knows his stuff. Is there one? He mentioned many different configurations in which the servers can function. Is there one that either of you prefer or think would be better for a community?
Yeah, I think I'm going to hold my vote on that until we get into the game. I'm certainly more excited personally for the private servers, though.
Yeah. You mentioned mods and stuff too. That as well, everyone would seem to probably have to have the same mod loaded on their own system as well.
Yeah,
I
you have
assume
to.
it's sort of. Sorry, go ahead.
You do have to have the same mod and the same version of the mod loaded on all the computers in order to make it sync.
I assume that part would be automatic just by logging into a private server, because the mods, like if you look at how Fallout 4 mods work through, say, the Xbox, I'm not really that familiar with PS4, but through the Xbox, those mods are actually stored on Bethesda's end, unless you went with Nexus Mod Manager or whatever. And they're actually maintained at that end so that way if something comes up that has nudity or whatever they don't want in there, moderators can take it out quite quickly. And I assume that's the only way they would be willing to allow mods in a game like this.
Very interesting. Ray, any more thoughts on servers?
No, I mean I think Lee touches on all the bits on this. It's so we know that some form of private server will be available because they've said that that's definitely a direction that they're going. And servers are so infinitely scalable anymore. It's easy for them to create these instances, with the 24 player limit. They can spin up a lot of different services, very quickly. So it used to be that, it took a lot more resources to connect people together, but the systems now are so developed that this kind of thing is just super simple.
Speak for yourself, dude.
Well, it's simple for us because all we have to do is log on.
I hope so. I'm a really kind of a big point and click kind of guy, if you know what I mean.
It's simple for them because between Amazon and Google and Microsoft, I mean, there is a huge amount of scalable server space available. They could even build their own server farm, fairly simply, and be able to spin up these instances of the game.
Oh, the server farm. Gotta get up at 4 a.m. to milk the computers.
Well, they have to be milked twice a day.
Oh, do I ever know? Ugh, those ladies get fussy if you don't milk them. Server talk, good stuff. Before we move on to the feedback for this week, we have to get our foodie group together, the Fallout Feed foodie group. We had a very important question sent to us from Twitter follower Craig, our good buddy Craig. He's on Twitter at Serok42, SEROK 42. He writes, "Is a hot dog a sandwich? Discuss."
So, according to the two guys that you run into in the game, it absolutely is, because anything between two pieces of bread is a sandwich, according to one guy.
But like the other one said, you can't put a piece of bread in between two pieces of bread and call it a bread sandwich.
Why not?
Because that's just inherently wrong.
Well,
Goes
not
against
if, not
everything
if you,
good in this world.
not if you have condiments on the bread. If you slap a little mayonnaise on one side and mustard on the other, that is a bread sandwich.
Condiment sandwich.
And so a hot dog is purely something in between two pieces of bread. So it is a sandwich.
Okay. The one argument to that I would have is a hot dog bun is not two pieces of bread. It is one roll sliced. So it is not two separate pieces of bread.
Valid point.
Well,
Does that
a
defeat?
loaf of bread is not isn't a piece of bread until you cut it.
But and you don't slice a long loaf of bread like down its its length like you do with a hot dog roll.
Have you never used one slice of bread to fold a piece of fried bologna between, just to make a half a sandwich?
You can't fold over 6 slices of bologna in one piece of bread, Ray. If I'm going to fried bologna town, I'm going strong. Open face sandwiches. Is that a sandwich?
No.
That's only one piece of bread.
So what the F?
That's meat and gravy piled on a slice of bread.
That's in Indiana we call that a beef Manhattan. Look it up.
Now, if you were to lay another piece of bread on top or a silly little seeded bun, it would become a sandwich.
A Philly steak sandwich.
You have a piece of bread with butter on it. You have another piece of bread with butter on it. You slap those two together. Is that a butter sandwich?
Absolutely.
So a hot dog is a sandwich because the bun is on both sides of the meat.
Right.
Craig, are you satisfied with that answer?
And that's even if it's a side slice or a top slice, either one.
Even if you're an idiot and slice your hot dog horizontally instead of lengthwise.
Well,
make a plus sign with your hot dog and the bun, basically.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to eat, but hey, that's irrelevant.
Yeah. And really quickly, I don't know if I mentioned it in the past, my favorite hot dogs ever, the street hot dogs in Vienna, a fresh baguette that's baked that they have on these heating spikes that they just shove in the middle of the baguette, so it's just like a hole through the middle of the bread, and then they just like squirt a big bunch of spicy mustard in it and then shove the hot dog down into the thing, so it's like wrapped in hot crusty bread. Oh, so good stuff. Way to go, Vienna street hot dogs.
Sounds good.
Good wieners over there in Wien. Right on. Thank you, Craig, for that very important topic. Hot dog, according to Ray, is a sandwich. I don't know if I don't know. I'll defer to Ray though, because he's the food guy. So let's get into this feedback, guys. Tonight we have Josh, Leon, Mark, Rebecca, Steve, and Jen. Let's see what order I have them in here. We've got Jen up first, so we'll go ahead and check in with Jen.
Hey, Fallout friends, Jen here. So I'm back for another round of feedback. First, the sandwich component of our feedback session that Andrew asked for. Nothing is as delicious, in my opinion, as a regional sandwich that is not specifically my region, but close enough to my region that I can actually get some decent ones. And it is the Montreal smoked meat sandwich. Montreal smoked meat, if you don't know it, is kind of like a corned beef or a pastrami, but spiced differently. It's warm. Usually you can order it lean or fatty, and it's served typically on rye with mustard and a ton of super sour pickles. So I'm a big fan of the Montreal smoked meat sandwich, and I would like to claim that as my regional sandwich. Sorry if I stole any thunder from the folks over there in Quebec. Okay, Far Harbor Week. I had to do the captain's dance to unlock my settlement. So I went ahead and did that and fought that legendary Mirelurk Queen. And I had to run backwards so much because I can't punch her and I suck really bad with all the rest of my weapons. I ran so far back that I discovered 2 new locations while I was fighting her, and even started a fight with a legendary trapper while all of this fight was going on. It was pretty exciting stuff. I ended up using a missile launcher because I didn't know what else to do. So that was all great. Then I got to brain dead. Pearl came up to me, actually. I didn't have to go and look for her. I was talking to the mariner, and she did that weird thing where she comes up, or people come up and they like pull your head away from a conversation. Well, Pearl did that to me, engaging with a conversation and speaking right over the mariner. Pretty rude, but I guess she was pretty desperate to find somebody to help her with some detective work. So I went back to the hotel with her, and I met a ton of ghouls, including a gross, putrid, glowing one. I got inside and surveyed the scene. For the first time ever, I found the can of red blood, or not red blood, but red paint, the blood-like paint, and I thought it was really funny the way a lot of the dialogue is around this stuff. It's like, oh, it couldn't. I spoke to all the dudes, and it was like, oh, it couldn't possibly be me. It could be somebody else. So I engaged in conversation, walked around, talked to everyone I could. I met Gilda, and in this playthrough, because of my build, my charisma is a lot higher than it usually is. So I had the opportunity to pass a whole bunch of charisma checks, which led me to getting a lover's embrace from the lovely Gilda. It reminded me a little bit of that quest in New Vegas where you have to program a protector on to be a sex bot for that hotel I think it's in Freeside. Anyway, I thought that was really hilarious. But my favorite part of this entire quest is one, those little cat urns. They're, the late kitten urns. Those are really lovely. And those are inside oh my gosh, my notes suck and I should take better notes. Inside the culprits' quarters around their fireplace. But I love the little cat urns. And I also love Santiago. He is my favorite. Having art conversations with him, listening to him go on and on is a real joy. And I loved discovering who made those kitten paintings that I am always hanging in my settlements. So bravo, Santiago, great work. I then went to do ablutions. I got into the nucleus. I drank the weird water and met the lady I was supposed to talk to in there to engage in the quest. To get to the Vim Pop factory, I got in the back door. I usually go into the front, and I've never gone in that way before. It was really kind of anticlimactic because I'm so used to fighting through the front. I did get that really awesome Vim power armor that's inside there. I was pretty excited. I love the look of the power armor. So I put it on, and when I started fighting with it, I realized again that the power armor on me, on my build, really, really sucks. I think it's because I don't have a whole lot of sneak in the power armor. I'm pretty sure I sound like a bag of tin cans sneaking up behind people. So I'm getting no sneak multipliers. And my strength is only 5. So I don't have a whole lot of power. I don't know what perks I'm supposed to be getting with it, but it ain't happening for me. So, and I also can't take buff out because Dance is my romance and he dislikes it every time I try to take it. So, but I didn't want to give up the power armor. So I toughed it out and I did my fight through there. And then I programmed the decontamination arches. I wasn't smart enough to help everyone out by decreasing the rads. So I just had to go ahead and make them rad filled. Next was the Great Hunt. I love this quest. I think it is a wonderful opportunity to troll people who have never played before, who have never played the quest before. I did that to my husband. He thought it was terrible. I thought it was hilarious. But anyway, I had to do all the hull breach quests to get to it. and get the trappers off the azalea. And then that Mirelurk carapace fight was really, really funny because I couldn't lock onto them in unarmed with VATS. They're on a different level. They were in the water and I was on one of those little platforms. So I had to manually hit them, and doing it unarmed, I'm kind of punching them. I have a power fist on, but I would punch them and they'd slap me back. I'd have to stim pack and then slap them back. So it took forever. The fight was really, really long, but it was really funny to watch. So I managed to get to Red Death Island, and I got there. I tried to pick the sarcastic options, and when the female protagonist voice started laughing a lot, it was pretty satisfying to hear. But anyway, I killed the Red Death. I did. I took off my mitts. I took off all of my power fist and stuff. And I tried to punch the Red Death. I figured I would do this barehanded to give him a fair fight. And I took one hit, and then Dance hit him with his laser rifle. So that kind of took away the victory of that battle. But I tried to drag his little corpse onto my boat to bring him back, to show the people of Far Harbor they'd been freaking out for nothing. But when the screen went black and we went back to Far Harbor, his little corpse disappeared, which was very, very sad for me.
Whoa.
Anyway, that's all I've got this week. I am looking forward to getting back to the Commonwealth next week. And I'm not sure how I'm going to punch a leveled Deathclaw to death, but I'm looking forward to trying. Anyway, thanks so much, guys, and I will see you in the wasteland.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. Good news about that Deathclaw is you don't necessarily have to punch him to death. There's multiple ways to play that one. Play around with it. See if you can get around that Deathclaw there. That was adorable. She tried to bring the body back, you guys.
Yeah, that was a clever idea.
I never would have thought about that. That's great. I'm glad she took off all the, power fists and, her class ring. Don't want to punch that poor little Mirelurk too hard. She's not smart enough to get the Rad Arch. Oh, that's too bad. She's asking about power armor perks. Well, what are we doing with power armor? If she's going to do her max power armor build, she mentioned she wanted to sneak specifically. Is there a paint job or something that makes sneak easier, Freighter? Did you know off the top of your head?
I know there's something you can do to your armor for sneaking, and I don't think it was paint. I don't recall how you do it, though.
That's just probably some sort of stealth mod you add to it. What about perks? Are there any specific perks? Well, you need science, I imagine, in order to get good stuff on your power armor. So I assume you'll need intelligence so you can get science in order to make the good improvements, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and I think you also have to have blacksmith.
Yeah, that's true too.
Armorer?
Yeah, an armorer as well.
Okay, so those three: blacksmith, armorer, science.
You might as well get rooted too, which is a strength one.
That's the punching while not moving, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that means you're only one away from pain train.
And that's sprinting, doing damage while sprinting in power armor, correct?
Well, you run into people and they go flying.
Yeah. Nice. That's a bunch of good ones there. Also, there's all those huge like 12 group of 12 perks if you're doing like a VATS build, if you want to do like with all the crits and stuff too. But yeah, like she was mentioning with the punching, that was hilarious. Punching off the platforms down onto the Mirelurks. Can you imagine just sitting there punching a Mirelurk to death? You can only hit them in one spot, and they're tiny little head. Otherwise, they're just like a bunch of armor. That's all those guys are. They're crazy. But did you guys? She pays way more attention to things than I do. She's an observer, this Jen. I noticed that San Diego had painted a kitten. I didn't gather that he had painted every kitten painting that we had seen all over the wasteland too, though. Did he say
He's
that?
very proud of it too.
Yeah.
The son of a bitch. Way to go, Santiago. He's pretty awesome. And the cat urns in there too. I didn't notice those either. I just rushed through that part, I guess. What are the kitty urns like? What is that all about?
She posted a picture in the Facebook group of it.
Yeah, I saw that. The guy who God, I forget his name already. Who's the guy who killed everyone? The murderer guy?
Ezra?
Yeah, who's pretending to be the woman.
Yeah. So he had cat urns?
Well, no, the woman that he killed had cat urns.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought that they were implying that instead of cats, those were actually the bodies of the people who were now robo brains. No?
No. I don't think so anyway.
That
That does sound way better though, so I think I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, definitely a much higher creep factor.
Yeah, sweet. Montreal smoked meat sandwich sounds delicious. I'd eat the hell out of that. I would take mine lean. I'm not a big fatty meat guy. I like all my meat pretty lean. Rye bread sounds interesting. Mustard actually goes on rye very well with pickles. I'm a definitely a pickle guy. I'd eat the hell out of that. You guys had Montreal smoked meat sandwiches? Frater, you've had to, right? You're Canadian.
Pretty much all food that comes from Montreal is great.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Ray, you been to Montreal? You been to Quebec?
I have, but I did not have a smoked meat sandwich.
Well, that's too bad. All my favorite Canadian comedians always mention the Montreal smoked meat sandwich. It's really good stuff. Yeah, cool. Great. Thanks, Jen, for that awesome bit of feedback. You guys have any thoughts? We will. Yeah, go ahead.
Jen enjoyed the lover's embrace. Her little fade to black screen with Gilda, the Robo-Brain.
Does that give you the actual Lover's Embrace perks? You get the extra XP after waking?
Yeah, for whatever the time period is.
Nice.
And then so she referenced the Fallout New Vegas, and Steve in the chat let us know that that was Fisto, who's the Protectron that you bring to the Garretts.
Sweet. Oh, shout out to everyone who's in the chat tonight. Give a shout out to
we got a bunch of people in there.
Steve, Lee, what up, guys? Jess, what's going on? Frater, is your kid in there again?
Yeah, he's always starting trouble. No one talked to him.
What the hell's he doing in there? Get your kid out of there. Hilarious. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Cool. So coming up next, we'll listen to Josh and Batty.
This is Josh with Batty's fifth set of feedback for the miscellaneous quests or best side quests roundtable season. This week we're doing Brain Dead, Ablutions, and the Great Hunt. I actually did the Great Hunt first out of those three. As we all know by now, there were quite a few tasks that we had to take care of in order to get to that point. But they were all fun. I enjoyed them thoroughly. So I went ahead and did a bunch of the Dalton side quests. Ended up getting the blood letter, the fishing hook weapon that does 25 points bleed damage. I upgraded it. I don't remember what the upgrade did, but I did upgrade that, and I've started using that while on Bar Harbor. just thought it was more immersive than Adam's Judgment, even though you get Adam's Judgment in Far Harbor. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to use that, especially when I'm hunting sea creatures. I went ahead and did the Mariner side quest. Yeah, I thought that was odd that you couldn't just do the next quest, that the whole breach, that you had to come back later. It had to pop up as a different option, but with all the other stuff that was available to do, I found myself busy on Far Harbor while I was waiting for that to come up. So after I had done the captain's dance, I ended up going over to talk to the Mariner, and the Mariner said that, you know, she had this really wild, adventure to go on, and I said, I'm all in. I'm ready to do this. And so she said, all right, meet me down by the dock. So I went down by the dock, and Avery, I believe that was her name, said, oh, you guys shouldn't go. And I said, I'm all in. And the Mariner said, you know, I think this is going to be great. You take your own boat, which I thought was very odd. I think she might be sending me out lamb to the slaughter. But you take your own boat. And she said, I have an extra special surprise for you on this, because you're such a fierce warrior baddie that I think this quest needs to be done blindfolded. And I said, well, I guess so. Didn't really have a choice, because after I got on my boat and was traveling over to find the Red Death, everything was pitch black, with the exception of my marker, my quest marker, and my compass. And so I had no idea where I was. I went ahead and just started swimming towards the marker. And then it took a while, but then finally numbers started showing up. And so I was like, okay. And so I figured Batty was just using his big old ears as like sonar to find where he needed to go. So he traveled along and got up and got to the end of the numbers. And luckily, the up popped on the screen, talk to Mariner. So I went ahead and clicked on that, and Mariner said that I needed was really she was really disappointed. Couldn't believe that we'd found this the Red Death, and it was just this meek, mild. Well, according to her, it was meek and mild. I had no idea because I couldn't see it. And so I traveled, you know, went on towards the quest marker again, because that's all I could see. So like I said, again, just using those big old ears as sonar to travel up. And when I got close enough, I just took a whack with bloodletter and killed the darn thing. Made out a pretty meek whimper. Felt pretty bad afterwards. Went back, talked to the Mariner, still blindfolded, mind you, and ended up telling the Mariner, hey, you know what? We should just lie about this. You know, nobody's going to believe that this little thing was creating so much destruction, but obviously it was with the lights and making boats crash. And so we went back. Heroes welcome. It was wonderful. As soon as I got back onto the dock, the Mariner allowed me to take off my blindfold because I could see again. That was great. So let's see. Ablutions. I went ahead and went over. I didn't actually end up running into the Mr. Handy that you're supposed to. I just found the hotel on my own, and so you know, went through the ghouls that were up top and found my way down. Went around and investigated the murder. thoroughly. I ended up getting to the point where I accused Juliana of killing Ezra. And then all of a sudden, Juliana's voice turned very masculine, and it was Mr. Ezra informing me that I came so close that he tried to bribe, and he said that he killed Juliana, and then made it look like it was himself that had died, and then he was taking on that personality. He tried to bribe me. I wouldn't accept, so he got aggro, so I had to kill him. And then I went up to Maxwell and told him everything all at once, and so I ended up getting the end of Brain Dead 1 and 2 at the same time. Let's see. After I got done with that, one thing I needed to mention about the Mariner's Quest. The first time I had done that, I had run into the guy that tried to buy the tools. This time, I didn't run into him, and I don't know what happened differently, except maybe that I thought I heard on the podcast that you guys went through a different door, maybe to leave. I went and didn't see that other door, and I backtracked through the building. And went that way. So I think that might be why I didn't run into the guy that wanted to buy the tools. Let's see. When I went to, I think it's the wood shed. I can't remember exactly what that is, what that place is, the wood factory, to clear that out for the little girl in Far Harbor. I think it's Betty. I ended up clearing it out, and this guy Malcolm comes up, and he wants me to lead people. He's telling me to get out of here, and then he's like, "Wait, no, I want you to lead people here." I got the impression that he was cannibal, and so I ended up saying, "No way, not doing that. I'm claiming this for Far Harbor." And then he went aggro on me, so I killed him. Let's see. So after that, went ahead and to do ablutions. Went up to see Sister May and started talking to her. She asked me if I would help her get the pump regulator from the Vim Pop factory. And luckily, I was able to say, I already have it, because I had previously gone to Vim Pop when I was doing stuff earlier in the season for Acadia. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I had run into that and picked it up, and I'm glad that I did now, so I didn't have to go back and do that. She went ahead and gave me Radical Conversion, which is a rifle that ignores 30% of the target's damage and energy resistance. So I went down and I went ahead and fixed up the decontamination arches because of the I had enough intelligence to fix it so that it would be a decontamination arch and not a radiation arch. But I decided, if the children of Adam want to soak themselves in radiation, far be it for me to stop them. So I went ahead and just did it normal, and then went up and tested it out and soaked up the glow of Adam for a little bit. That's all I have for this week. I did realize that I'd already done one of the quests for next week, the gun run, by accident, not realizing that it was assigned the following week. Pretty excited for that one. That was a fun one. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
What was gun run? Is that the old guy on the roof?
Yeah, in Salem.
Way over there. Yeah, we bunched that together with the Witchcraft Museum because they're in the same neighborhood over there. I've started those quests. Oh, I'm stuck. in Covenant. You don't have lockpicking or hacking. It's a. No wonder it's a side quest because they always allow a way through for the main quest, but they level stuff on that Covenant side quest where you can't do it if you don't have some sort of investment in lockpicking or hacking. So get ready for that, kids. Have a plan. Josh, great feedback, brother. That hook. What is the name of that hook? He said the blood letter has the wounding thing. That's always fun. I like to use that sort of. He's really doing the role plays. He's on the foggy island, so he wants to use the hook as he's hunting the.
Yeah, and the mod you can put on that from the workbench is puncturing.
Oh.
Which is armor piercing.
Oh, nice. Armor piercing. Its legendary effect has a wounding effect, which is 25 points of bleeding damage, spread out over 5 seconds. And so add that puncturing, get through that armor. That probably does armor count for monsters too. Would that get you through a Mirelurk crevice, whatever, however that's pronounced?
Carapace.
Carapace? What did I say? Carapace. Would that get you through the armor of a Mirelurk?
I don't know that counts as armor. I'd have to look at it.
I think that's a technicality that should fall on my side. I think that's armor. That the puncturing should work, my opinion. Brain Dead 1 and 2 popped at the same time. I don't know if mine were instantaneously at the same time. I think I had like a couple of seconds in between something happened. But yeah, I thought it was weird that quest was broken up into 2 parts like that.
Yeah, that is strange.
It's made so that if when you identify that he's the killer, you go tell the other robot, Maxwell, or what, and then he gives you at that point. Ezra tries to make a run for it, and all the robots go after him, and you can kill him then and in the quest. But if you don't take the bribe and he aggroes right away, and you kill him, then the killing Ezra part is done. So that's why it ends both quests at the same time.
Interesting. How about he missed the guy who with the tools? How do you progress the Mariner stuff if you don't have the? I guess you do have the tools.
Yeah, you take the tools back to the Mariner, and
you just don't have that interaction.
Yep.
You just okay. But that sucks, man. He had to backtrack all the way out of the. I mean, it's not the worst place, but that door is just like off to the right there. I think.
Yeah.
Pretty easy, I thought. I do that shit all the time. Don't worry about it. It's like I remember Pat giving me a hard time forever ago. Just be like, "Oh God!" And then you have to backtrack all the way back out. It might have been at the Federal Rations place. He's like, "No, you can just hop right out there." Ugh, so frustrating. I do that stuff all the time, Josh. Don't sweat it. I also thought it was weird. You mentioned that the Mariner made you take your own boat to go get the Red Death.
Yeah, that's totally sketchy.
He had the bug. The first time I played this quest, I had the same exact bug that you had, Josh.
Yeah, me too.
That's interesting. That's great. Have you ever had that happen, Freighter?
Nope. Never had that one.
I had a weird variation on it, though, that when I was underwater, I could see the outlines of stuff in black and gray. But everything was just straight black if you got above the crest of the water. So I could swim all the way to the island where the Red Death was underwater, and I could see sort of a general direction. It wasn't clear. It wasn't like it is normally, but I could at least sort of get a general idea of what I was going up against. But again, like as soon as I got over the water, it was black. Ray, how did you experience that bug?
Yeah, I mean, it was black. I could see the markers and everything. But I just reloaded and it worked fine.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that's one of those permanent bugs or if that's just a simple reload. And then I was going to ask Josh if he. Well,
According to the wiki, all you have to do is go into VATS.
Oh. But why would I? I'm swimming. I never think to do stuff like that.
Can you go into VATS while you're swimming?
Well, you'd have to, right? Because you're swimming there. You're not on your boat. Like, part of the bug is you're not on your boat anymore. They plop you into the water. So I guess you could swim all the way to the island, then pop on VATS. I don't know. I've never tried, I don't think. Pop on VATS. There's no reason to, because the motherfuckers won't put a monster underwater, Freighter.
That is a bit of a letdown, yeah.
I need a monster. You're on a foggy island. We need an irradiated Loch Ness monster or something. God, I need an underwater monster in Skyrim or Fallout. And don't say fucking slaughterfish. Those things don't count.
Yeah, you gotta have something to justify all those mini nukes we're all hoarding.
Exactly. I need to blow something up. Josh, I thought that was very nice of you and super progressive that even though you had the opportunity to take away a method for worship for the children of Adam, that you decided to not do so and allow them to worship as they wish. Kudos to you. And you even went and took a little spritz of the glow yourself. Very nice.
And just so Malcolm, Malcolm is a cannibal.
Yeah, stay away from that dude. All right, Josh. Thanks again for sending in your feedback. Hope your kidney's doing fine, buddy. The next up, let's see, Leon. G'day, Leon.
G'day, this is Leon from Texas, recording my Fallout Feed Roundtable feedback for the Episode 6, Brain Dead, Ablutions, and the Great Hunt quests. So these are all Far Harbor quests. So I took Nick to Kasumi's dad and went to Far Harbor. I did not take Nick this time because I've done that before. So this time I decided to stick with Paladin Dance and my mod companion Heather Caston. So we went to Far Harbor, did the kind of the beginning quest lines, got to Arcadia, did hooked up with some of the Far Harbor people, and got the beginning stuff there, and then went to see the Children of Adam. Did the little ghost quest where you see the Mother of the Fog, and it's pretty cool. I've always liked that quest. And then started doing some of the quests for the Children of Adam and did ablutions. Now, my character is mainly just humoring the Children of Adam. He doesn't buy any of their BS. He thinks they're all pretty much nutcases, but he needs to get access to Dima's memories. So he'll do what he needs to do. So he talked to Sister Mia, however you pronounce her name, and she sent him to the Vim Pop factory, where there's a bunch of super mutants. And you also get the story, kind of the early story for the super mutant at the crashed airplane. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But the one that sells dogs. And while I was running around, I came across him. And I actually bought the super mutant, the mutant hound. And interestingly enough, I wasn't aware of this before, but apparently if you have Paladin Dance with you when you buy that dog, he disapproves of that. Which makes sense. It just was, something I never had happen before, so that's interesting. So I went to Vim Pop, killed all the mutants there, including the special behemoth mutant Grun, I think his name is. And excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to cough. Anyway, so I killed Grun. And got the pump regulator. Went back to the Children of Adam, installed the pump regulator, and overrode Mia's bypass. So now the decontamination arches do exactly what they're supposed to do. You need, I believe it's intelligence 7 or 9. I can't remember which, but I had the with the clothes I was wearing and stuff. I had that, so I was able to do that. Then we did Brain Dead. I actually did the Great Hunt first, but I like it the best, so I'll talk about it last. So then did Brain Dead. Brain Dead's a fun little quest. You talk to Pearl, and you find out, you go to the hotel, and then you gotta solve the murder mystery. It's a neat idea. I think at some point in the past they've talked about, but I think there was some sort of controversy about it being like a mod or something, or like in a previous, I think Fallout 3, somebody done a mod real similar to it or something. I don't remember, but anyways, still a good quest. So I did the murder mystery and found the true killer and the true victim and everything, and talked to the movie star and got the lover's embrace perk from spending some time with the movie star. Not really sure how that works with RoboBrain, but in the interest of science, my character found out. And you would think that maybe Dance would disapprove of that, or maybe even Heather would disapprove of that, but nope. So, oh well. Then I completed Brain Dead. I love Brain Dead overall as a quest. It's pretty fun to have a little murder mystery. The only bad thing about Brain Dead is once you've done the quest, it doesn't have a lot of replayability because you kind of know the steps. I did think about purposely choosing the wrong criminal, but decided in the end that I'm the Silver Shroud, and I'll do things right. So I do like the last line when you talk to Maxwell. If you well, it turns out Robo-Brains can eat, and I just served them him a heaping helping of justice. So that was pretty cool. Although, gotta admit, I kind of wish there was a line in regards to the Silver Shroud. That would have been a pretty cool add-on. So then we come to one of my favorite quests in Far Harbor, and it's the entire quest line involving the Mariner. Overall, I know this is one of the ones that I also said that I really liked on the feedback group when we were asking for quests. And I just love this entire chain of quests involving the Mariner. I love her character. She's a cool character. It really makes me wish that Bethesda had put a few more NPCs like oh darn, I can't remember her name now. The lady in the third rail that sings, and it's in the red dress, and I can't remember her name, but anyways, that you can spend some time with her. And even with her, it's only a one night stand. You don't get anything more. But I really wish that Bethesda had put a few characters in there that you got to maybe make romances that weren't necessarily companions. You didn't even have to settle them to your settlements or anything, but you could have somebody that when you came back to, you had some different conversation options. Who knows, maybe you can get married or something like that. It'd be kind of cool. Some of the other companies that do that, like BioWare and stuff like that, they tend to do like companion romances, but they also usually have a few where they're people that are involved with your character or you meet during the course of the adventures, and you can still like romance them and have stories with them, but usually the stories aren't as detailed as the companion ones. Some of them are, but not all of them. And I think that'd be cool if Bethesda threw that in as a few more options, in the future. But oh well, is what it is. But if they did, Mariner would be one of those characters that I would wish could romance in some fashion, because I just really like her voice actress. I like kind of her attitude, and then the quests that she sends you on. I also like the fact that every time you complete one of our quests, it upgrades the wall. It actually does a visual upgrade, so it's pretty cool. So then we get to the end of her quest line, which is the Great Hunt, and I love this quest just for the way it ends. I mean, it's a huge build up, and then you get to the island, and spoiler alert for those who haven't done it, but it's a teeny tiny baby mud crab with glowing red eyes. It's awesome. And I just love it. The first time I did that quest, I was like, seriously? Really? This is, I just couldn't help laughing the first time. I still laugh even now. And they make a good point about, with the red eyes glowing and stuff, people coming up on the shoals and stuff could wreck their ships. But I really think they missed the boat a little bit. I mean, I think they should have put a bunch of little Mirelurks there. And then one with the glowing red eyes, because just that one little Mirelurk, well, anybody that survived the waves, and I'm sure you'd have at least one person in all the ships that are there. There's like 4 or 5 ships there that survived long enough to make it to the island, and would then kill him, because it's not like it takes a lot. I mean, it was one shot and he's dead. So, but anyways, I think they should have maybe put maybe some little Mirelurks, the ones that hatch out of the eggs, or maybe some eggs that hatch there. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it works. It's hilarious when you see those glowing red eyes and you're like, seriously, that's it for the first time. So, anyways, that's my feedback for this feedback. And soon fixing to head back to the Commonwealth to do the next batch. I might take a different tact on tradecraft, considering the faction I'm going with. We'll see. Anyways, I'll see you in the wasteland, and ad Victorium.
Ugh. Ad Victorium? Yuck. You punk. Saying that on purpose just to rile me.
You think?
Yeah. So I never thought of that before. Leon, good point. Did all the boaters on all the wrecked ships on the shores of the island of the Red Death instantaneously die upon impact of their boat crashing? Because he's right. The thing died really easily. Anyone in that boat who survived should have been easily able to kill that little glowing mud crab. Right?
Unless the siege creature got him.
Siege creature?
The sea creature.
The sea creature. If only they'd put a stupid sea creature in this game, Ray. If only. That's a thing. That's now a thing. Mariner Romance. That's pretty sweet. I bet you there's a mod out there, Leon. Right? If not yet, eventually will. If you look at Skyrim mods, there's like so many thousands. Like, it's just crazy. Eventually, if there's not one yet, someone will eventually make a Mariner Romance mod.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's working on it.
And she'll probably be naked too.
Yeah.
That's the way mods go. You mentioned Bethesda controlling mods via the servers and being able to control nudity and stuff, Freighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a bunch in Skyrim? But are those like on the Nexus and not through the Bethesda side, I guess, then, right?
Yeah, that's just on independent sites, yeah.
And those aren't... I only go through the Bethesda site. Is it possible to load Nexus and stuff on? You can't do that through Xbox. It's only through the Bethesda, I would assume, right?
A friend of mine once claimed that there is a way, but I haven't found a way to do that.
Yes. Show me how to do it, man. I'd like to hear it. That's fun. He got to fight Groon. Dance dislikes it when you buy Gracie, the super mutant hound. The mutant hound from Ericsson.
That makes sense.
Fuck off, Dance. You jerk. Thanks for humoring the children of Adam, Leon. The Mother of Fog is always cool. I like doing that little jog. All the cool, trippy animals standing around the side. That's cool. Guys, I don't know. I was just saying the title of this quest over and over again, and I'm not really paying attention, and I didn't even know what it meant. So I finally looked it up. Ablution. The for anybody out there who didn't know what the actual definition of ablution is, it's the act of washing oneself, and often used for a humorously formal effect, or the ceremonial act of washing parts of the body or a sacred container. So there, it's like, you know, what they call it, guys? The children. There's another process they called it where you got rid of your radiation and then give yourself radiation again.
I can't remember.
Forget what it was called. But anyway, it's like ablution is just another word for that, I guess. So I was a dummy. I just thought, whatever, some stupid word. But I finally stopped and looked it up. Anybody who didn't know what it means, there you go. Leon, thank you for your great feedback. Always appreciated. Love hearing your stories. Also, coming up next, we have Mark with a W. Hey, buddy, what's going on?
The pleasantries, make it quick because I'm useless and I forgot. Mark with a W, don't ask all that stuff. Far Harbor was brilliant upon my virgin eyes. Just feels a lot more like it's an actual apocalypse now, funnily enough, considering in the capital wasteland you're going around in a literal wasteland. And with this sort of given us a little bit of breath of what to expect with 76, with the forest and all the wooded areas, and it's very dense and you can't quite see what's hiding behind every tree, every corner. So it feels a lot more sort of desperate, survival like. And can I just say the music in there is absolutely beautiful. All the wind instruments and string instruments, it feels a lot less industrial. It felt like I was in the Elder Scrolls. It was really great. So on the topic of that, I haven't done anything I was supposed to do. I haven't even found the people that are supposed to give us the quests that we're supposed to do. So I've just been dossing about, milling around, doing quests here and there, helping out that mental Cassie Dalton with the killed some ghouls for her. And she's all good. I think she's a borderline psychopath. And that guy Alan's a dick. And the Mariner, I can't say I've ever really had a literal crush on a video game character before, but that Mariner's cute as fuck in my opinion. So when Machete Mike came and offered us $2,000 for those tools, I told him to get stuffed. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it, and I just want to say thank you for giving me the push to actually stop being so nervous about jumping into these DLCs, just getting on with it. I don't know why I was putting it off for so long, just maybe it's for want of getting everything done in the main game, maybe, which will probably never happen. I'll be playing it till I die, the same as the other Fallouts and the other Elder Scrolls games, but that's what they're there for, they're timeless. So when you hear people saying, oh, I miss Fallout 3, oh, I miss the old newfound glory, well, guess what, mate? They didn't go anywhere. They're still there. You can still play them. You can still listen to them. Just do it.
Just do it. Go play the games, guys. All right. Public service announcement from Mark with a W. Thanks for checking in, Mark. That's a good message. Kind of makes me stop and think, oh, yeah, I don't even notice it anymore because I've played it so many times. It's not, fresh anytime. But to see it for the first time, it is a pretty big drastic difference. Schematically, the music, the feel, the tone, everything about Far Harbor compared to the cityscape of the Commonwealth, compared to the natural environments of Far Harbor. He even mentioned how the music changed and used more sort of like natural string instruments and woodwinds and stuff. So that's sort of a beautiful observation, man. That's really nice. It makes me reflect the first time you're going back there to Far Harbor. That's really cool. And don't worry about not keeping up with doing all the quests, because going to the Far Harbor for your first time, you just want to sort of like soak it all in. You don't want to move through the main quest of that too fast. You want to help out Mama Dalton or whatever her name is there on the pier and open up her property that she allows you to get eventually. It's really nice to experience Far Harbor and see it unfold for the first time like that.
Yeah, it's a neat space. It's a great place to go around. you know, one of my laments, I use the mysterious serum in order to be able to power through Far Harbor. But it's really fun. You know, there's so much tension there because, you know, the animals are so much more deadly, and you know, you're always fighting the radiation from the fog, and you know, it's just a really rich space to travel through. And so Mark and Leon both with a crush on the Mariner should check out the voice actress.
Oh, Ray, did you look her up?
I did.
She look like the Mariner? Are they gonna be impressed?
No, she doesn't look at all like the Mariner, but I don't think they'll complain.
Oh boy. Okay. So definitely need a Mariner romance mod out there, I guess. That's
Yep.
pretty funny. That's so cute, you guys. You too. Leon and Mark, you playing that, you guys?
Yeah. And you know, yeah, just in the chat hit it on the head. I mean, she is Velma from Scooby Doo.
Oh, nice.
You know, I mean, just her style and you know the way she speaks is definitely very very Velma-esque.
Well, jinkies, you guys. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mark with a W, for checking in, and we hope you have lots of fun skedaddling around the Far Harbor. Coming up next, we've got Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello everyone, this is Rebecca with an update on Flash. This week we were supposed to be doing stuff in Far Harbor, but I'm afraid I'm a bit bored of Far Harbor, so I've skipped that and I'm going to tell you about something that happened a while ago before the Kate clicking glitch, called benign intervention. While they were travelling together, Kate told Flash that she had a problem she needed help with. She told Flash all about her past, how she was really badly abused by her parents and eventually sold to slavers. She started using drugs to cope with what was happening and became addicted. She said that she's been using drugs the whole time they've been traveling together and she wants to stop. She's heard of a detox facility in Vault 95 and asked Flash to help her get there and get treatment. On their way to Vault 95, they came across Vault Tech Regional HQ and went inside for a look. There was a bell on the front desk, which Flash couldn't resist ringing. The sound of the ringing bell triggered a memory for her of a man who she met once in a church. He had told her that he was there to restore the church bell. She remembered that he had a terribly scarred face. She wondered what had happened to him. Could he have somehow survived the war like she did? Or was he one of the many skeletons that she'd stepped over during her journeys? Or maybe he was one of those terrible feral ghouls. And for that matter, who were all of the skeletons and feral ghouls? Were any of them people who she'd known? She'd not been out of the vault for very long at this point and hadn't become hardened to her new surroundings yet, so these thoughts about how the world had changed and the people who had been lost were still very painful for her. The reality of her situation suddenly hit her, and she hurried out of the building, Kate obediently following behind. They reached Vault 95 at 11:30 at night. Kate said that they needed to get inside and find the clean room. Flash crouched down and watched for a few moments to see if she could see anyone, but it was too dark, so she used VATS and could see that there were 2 assaultrons and 3 gunners outside. She managed to injure them all from a distance, using grenades, and by the time they'd worked out where she was, they were fairly easy to finish off. Inside was another assaultron and a Mr. Gutsy that weren't so easy to handle in such a confined space, and she and Kate only just managed to win that fight. Straight after that, she heard someone shout, "I want this one's head," which is about the most sinister thing you could ever hear anyone say about you. They worked their way through the vault and did manage to kill the gunners that were waiting for them. There were dead vault dwellers everywhere, alongside lots of coffee cups and jet. They reached the overseer's office and used a terminal there to unlock the facilities area. There were some more raiders in the cafeteria sitting at tables. When she had killed them, she looked around at the disgusting mess in there and wondered why none of them had considered picking up a broom and tidying up a bit. They finally found a door labelled classroom, which led through to the clean room. Kate said that she didn't know whether she could go through with it. Flash felt a surge of anger. She hadn't risked her life numerous times to get there just for Kate to chicken out, so she very assertively told Kate to just get in there. Kate sat in the treatment chair, which had a syringe driver on either side. Flash activated the toxin purge using a terminal, and some arm restraints came out and held Kate down. The syringes also activated and started pumping something into either side of Kate's neck, which looked horrific, and she seemed to be in quite a lot of pain and discomfort. It would go on for ages, and Flash didn't know whether to try and shut it off or just leave it to finish. But after an agonizingly long wait, it was over. Kate stood up and seemed a bit disorientated initially, but said that she actually felt really good. Flash was just glad it was over because she'd found the whole experience very odd and unpleasant. She suggested they go back to 10 Pines Bluff for a couple of days so that Kate could rest. On their way back to 10 Pines Bluff, Flash noticed a giddy-up Buttercup just standing in the middle of the road. She cautiously approached, thinking it must have been a trap of some sort, but she found a note on the ground next to it that said, "For a child who needs it, signed Arlen Glass." Strangely, even though this seemed like such a silly thing, it made Flash realise that although the world is a hideous and dangerous place, maybe all isn't totally lost. That's all for this time. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Hey, we ran into each other in a past life. That's super sweet to run that in to your story. Oh my God, Flash and Bell with the past encounter. That's totally awesome, Rebecca. Adorable working that in. Awesome. That's really, really cool. So she was running through benign intervention. That's something I have totally forgotten. I don't even remember which follower I was assigned. I've been running around with Hancock. Was that the one I was even assigned? I don't remember. Have you guys done any of your companions quest or anything? That was one thing we were supposed to report back on. I don't think I've been paying attention to that at all.
Yeah, I was curious mine, but since I didn't do the main quest at all, I can't unlock Dr. Amari. She won't talk to me about Curie at all.
Well, Ray, I was looking at the schedule, and it's optional, but the last quest, the last batch of quest, there is something that it's called In Sheep's Clothing, which is optional, but it requires the completion of the main quest line. Have you done In Sheep's Clothing? You know that one just by mention?
I don't think I ever have. That's the Danny Sullivan quest.
Danny Sullivan he's over at Diamond City, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So beware of that as well. Guys, if you haven't fucked over your relationship with the railroad, next week you're gonna have to hop into there. That'll be interesting. She mentioned how violent the detox, that whole process in the chair is. That's always sort of shocked me too. It's like jamming needles into the side of her neck and everything, holding her down with arm restraints. Like, can we take a little bit easy here, guys? Is this what rehab's like? Don't check me in, please. That she mentioned using VATS to see because she couldn't see in the dark. The Protectrons or Assaultrons and the Gunners. Getting into Vault 95 is a fucking bitch sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those Gunners don't mess around.
It is tough. I don't like getting into that place. And plus, if you stumble in from the wrong direction, you're up above the entryway, which some people like that strategy, but I always end up just getting killed. But the Assaultrons flank me from either side, come up from below if I go that route. So I always like to try to come from like one side down below. If I get stuck up top, I always get cornered for some reason.
Yeah, I always go up there and pepper the path up with mines.
That's really smart because they do come up the like a sort of directed path. And she's super smart for ducking back and chucking grenades at him. See, I never used the explosives. I need to think about that more and use them more strategically. Planting mines up there on that pathway for the assaultrons to run over is a really good way to go. That's really
Yeah,
smart.
a lot of times it'll blow their legs out.
And that's the best. We love it when they're dragging their bodies around, blasting off that laser on their belly. That's really fun. Yeah. So awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. It's a pleasure to meet you, Flash. Let's see you in the wasteland, Flash. Last but certainly not least on tonight's episode, we have Steve checking in with our good pal Timmy.
Yora koto, everybody. Steve here in New Zealand with my feedback for Timmy. And we are off to Far Harbor. I took Nick as a companion with me. I wanted his perk, and I also wanted to hear him and Dima chatting. I thought that was a really cool thing that they built in there to the game, was the conversation between Nick and Dima. So I suggest anybody take him with you when you do that. And has anyone noticed how Dima looks like the guy on the cover of Astoundingly Awesome Tales? Science Gone Mad, My Brain and I, A Twisted Love Tale. I think so, anyway. So, Dima sent us to go hang out with the children of Adam, and it's always a fun time over in the nucleus. Those children don't mess around. They wanted me to head over to the Vim factory for the ablutions quest. Well, I know that I want to pick up that sweet Vim armor while I'm there, so I headed back to the mainland to drop my power armor off, and I decided to do Valentine's quest while I was there because we were at that point. And man, that is not just a quest. It takes you everywhere, and you gotta really search out some of those tapes. I laughed when the quest ended below a Joe Spucky sandwich shop because me and Joe Spucky, love those Spucky shops. And Valentine is fucking great, man. It's such good voice acting. I don't often travel around with him, but he's awesome. And I really wanted his companion perk, like I said. It gives you a 5th chance when hacking, which is great because hacking was one of my assigned skills. And so I might as well get everything to max that out. I kind of look forward to hacking terminals now with level 4 and my really high intelligence. It's a breeze. And so with a 5th slot, I never miss. I went back to the Vim factory and did grab the armor. I read online that Vim is based on a real cola from Maine called Moxie Cola. You got some Moxie, kid. I like the cut of your jib. Oh, I know somebody that named their kid Moxie too. Anyway, make sure to get the paint job from the computer while you're in there. And the armor is kind of cool because there's really only so much T51 in the game. It's kind of rare in the vanilla game, I find. So I think there's one on the bridge or the roadway, the raised roadway above Grey Garden. So anyways, you can find one there. We got the regulator, headed to the nucleus, and Mai gave me the honor of installing it. And with an intelligence of 7 or higher, I think mine's at like 11, you can opt to reverse Mai's alteration to the system before installing the new regulator, thus making the decontamination arches actually decontaminate as they were meant to do. So because I love a special check, that's what I did. Anytime in the game I get one of those rare special checks, I feel like I have to do it because they're in there so little. Doesn't really matter, but I feel like I'm fucking with the children. So radical conversion's a pretty sweet weapon. I like the name a lot. Although the kiloton rifle is really easy to get, just buy it from Brother Kane there, which might be better. I don't know. I did end up buying the kiloton because I didn't think it was too expensive, and later on I may end up killing the children and I don't want to forget to pick it up. So I don't know. It works well with my nuclear physicist because the nuclear physicist gives you double to any radiation damage if you have a like level 3. So I have that. So anything that does radiation damage does really high, which is awesome. I'm just gonna say here, I love how they expanded the Children of Adam. I think it's great. You can join up with these weird offshoot factions. I always enjoy doing the Children Quest. Also, they have that super sweet looking marine armor. How did they find so much? It's hard for me to find. The only place I can find the marine armor is in those cases at the bottom of the ocean, right? After I do Dima's Blue Nightmare. So we went back to the Mariner and we had to complete the Hull Breach quests, grab the tools, and then clear the shipwreck. Those are great little quests, and we got Valentine's Affinity up, and I dismissed him off to Taffington Boathouse. So I thought, well, who do I need to take as a companion right now? And so I was like, oh, sweet, I'll go pick up Dance again, and because I spared his life during Blind Betrayal, and so now he's roaming around in a set of XO1 armor, and he wanted to talk to me though after I told him to come with me, and he warned me to get up back on track. And I'm thinking, that's weird. So I check, my affinity with him had somehow dropped to 12%. I'm like, what the hell? I left him at 99.9 at Blind Betrayal. Now I got to get it all the way back up and watch out for the roadblocks where the Brotherhood of Steel is. They're all over the Commonwealth now that I beat the Institute with them. So, and anytime they run into Dance now, they're going to attack him. So I was like, well, I'll take him with me to Far Harbor. So that's cool because there's no Brotherhood of Steel in Far Harbor. But geez, I wonder why his affinity got all screwed up. I still don't know. I took Dance with me to the Harbor Hotel, and we started to investigate the crime. I noted in the rigs room all the urns with the cremated remains of their cats, and Scruffy is their current alive cat, and the urns are labeled Missy 1, Missy 2, Missy 4, Pepper, Pepper 2, Mr. Purrs, and Sir Cattington. Those cracked me up quite a bit. I did solve the murder. I had to reload though because I did first anger Keith by accident when talking to him. If you accuse him, he gets all pissed off, and I was like, well, I know he's not the murderer, so let me reload. And then I went and first I talked with Santiago, who's great. I love going through the paintings with Santiago. That's a lot of fun. He wants to hear your reactions to his paintings. His reaction to the cat picture is hilarious. So now we know where all those cat paintings around the Commonwealth come from. I actually, in real life, have one of those hanging in my lounge. That's a family room for you Yanks. And got it for my wife as a Christmas present a year ago. And so that's awesome. Now I know who painted that picture. It's great. Santiago. In the display case, if you wander around and you see that room, it's got a bunch of display cases. You can find, if you have lockpicking, a pair of those elusive road goggles that give you the +1 to intelligence. So if you have lockpicking, you can go get that. And a pirate hat if you're into that kind of thing. It's one of those tricorn hats. I do also note that Pearl, the robot, Mr. Handy, that sends you to the vault sets up a shop in the hotel there, and so you can buy a unique hat from her. It's funny, she's a her, but a Mr. Handy. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. The hat is the Dapper Gent. It reduces damage from robots by 15% and gives you +2 charisma. Super expensive though. I'm like, God, it's not really worth the cost. I'm not paying, 10,000 caps for this thing, unless for some reason you're going for a super robot buster build, but that would be weird anyway too. Why would you do that? So Dance and I headed back to the main Far Harbor town, which is called Far Harbor. I guess the land mass is just called the island. And so took him to do the captain's dance and Hull Breach 3 at the same time, just like Ray was saying. So I could knock out getting the Mirelurk carapaces and do the captain's dance at the same time. I'd listened to last week's podcast, and I did have some Vim Captain's Blend with me and knocked that out. And then we headed back to Far Harbor and geared up for the Red Death. Yes, they should have called it the Red Menace. And first, we got over there, and first I took off my gun, right, and then I think I'm using Jimmy, the shotgun right now still, and I just tried to punch it to death, but it's actually a tough little bugger. So it ended up walking away from me, and I'm punching it. It's walking away, and it goes into the ocean in the south. And then I couldn't follow it. It went beyond where I could follow it. So I was like, oh, but then, so I reloaded, and then I ended up just shooting it. But you're saying I didn't actually have to do that. I ended up telling the mariner that we needed to tell the truth to the harbormen, because the first time I did it, I said, we'll lie about it. But Dance didn't like that, and I'm still trying to get my affinity up with him. So I told her, oh, no, we must tell the truth. And so those Far Harbor men are real dicks. Man, it's not like any of them ever tried to go take this thing out. They just don't appreciate the mariner. She's pretty cool. And yeah, so that's my adventures in Far Harbor. Yes, those were some quests that took us around, but if we're only going to be here for one episode, you might as well make it worth it. So I feel like I've done actually a heap of Far Harbor right now, and so there is still a lot more to do. I never made it down to Cranberry Island. Got some other quests over there. I never finished things out with the children, so I can always come back and do more. Maybe I'll do that this week. I don't know. But I'm also thinking I need to start Nuka World, because you pick some doozy long ones for Far Harbor, man. I'm sorry, for Nuka World. We're gonna have to do the entire thing pretty much in order to do Nuka World. So, which I really want to do. I've never spent heaps and heaps and heaps of time in Nuka World, so I'm looking forward to going over there and doing that.
Start it now.
Non-related, but just a bit of Fallout interesting bit. I saw on Reddit that if you're in Diamond City and you go to the All Faiths Chapel, so there's a church right there across from Public Occurrences. When you go in, it's on the right hand side, and there's like a priest guy there, and you can talk to him. And I found out that it says that sitting in the pews gives you a quiet reflection perk for a little while, which gives you 5% extra XP for limited time. I did not know that. I don't think I ever knew that. That's weird. So yeah, I read that on Reddit, everybody. But anyway, Tena Korua, everyone, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Tena Kaura. Steve. 5%, is that Lover's Embrace? Is that the exact same benefit?
Sounds like it. Yep.
So sitting in the pews just does it for you in that special way. This is like getting some good night rest, shall we say, next to your lover. Interesting. Very
Wonder if you can double those up.
Freighter, always talking about doubling up. Yeah, that's interesting. That sounds, well, if they actually are the same perk, then no, they wouldn't. But if they aren't, then yeah, they probably would. That'd be really cool. Test that out, guys. That's really neat. That's a good perk. Thanks for tipping us off on that, Steve. You mentioned Cranberry Island. That's one of my favorite places in all of Fallout 4. If you guys haven't been to Cranberry Island yet, everyone seek out Cranberry Island. It's really fun. Just don't try to build settlements on the islands down there on the south side. He had to tell the truth about the Red Death because Dance, he needed affinity for Dance. What is that? What did the Far Harbor people do? If you tell the truth.
I think they just ridiculed you and the Mariner.
You still get all the perks and stuff, right?
I believe so.
Nice. Who cares then? Right on. Speaking of affinity for dance, there's one person in our community who probably hasn't known this secret. So there is a big twist in Dance's character side quest and his character quest. Does his affinity chart change after that? The point after that big reveal? Does my question make sense? Because he's basically two different characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would think if anything, it would go up.
But do the things that you do, the people you interact with, does that change what he likes and dislikes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Gosh, that's a good one to know too. We've got lots of math to test. And he also said Dance was in an X01 power armor. Does that mean he put on a helmet too? Have you ever seen Dance put on a power armor helmet?
Yeah, he puts one on when you go to
And like battle and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gives it a little flip and throws it on his head.
But
Yep.
At home, I never see him with it on. Like he never wears it, just running around.
Yeah, when he's inside the building, he'll take it off.
I always want him to wear it. But you can't like equip it on him, can you? Another thing, interested to see. He got his affinity down to 12%. Wonder what caused that. It's with Dance. Let's see.
All the trouble he had trying to get Kate's affinity down on purpose. And now this one goes easy for him and he doesn't even know how. That's pretty hilarious.
Oh, Steve and his affinity struggles. That's really funny. Good point, Freighter. Good point. That's hilarious. Nice. Thank you, Steve, for your feedback. He mentioned that he did a lot of Far Harbor and there's still a lot left to do. It was not my intention to make everybody play basically the whole damn Far Harbor quest except for the main line. But in order to do that Mariner stuff, they do send you all over the place. And, the captain's dance and all that. So at least
the good thing is you make up for it by making us go to every location in Nuka World to find the cappies.
Yeah. So that was the next breath I was going to mention. I know it's not for another couple weeks, but people go ahead and start your Nuka World stuff because, oh my goodness, I did it to you again. This one might be worse. Did I make people find all the fucking star cores? I didn't do that. I'm not punishing people like that, am I?
No, you did. So there's the cappy, there's the hubologists.
Oh, that one's great.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, and then the mystery mansion.
Oh, those are all great. Well, I've never actually done the Cappies one. Have you guys done the Cappies one?
That takes a while, yeah. I remember there was at least a couple that were really hard to find.
All right, so start that one now, you guys. But I don't think Hubologist is terribly lengthy. I mean, not an obnoxious, like, over a period of weeks type of quest.
No.
Depending how many fusion cores you have, you can make it really quick.
Yeah. Sweet. He mentioned Nannybot versus Mr. Handy. Did Pearl say she was a Mr. Handy or something?
She's a Miss Nanny.
She's a Nannybot, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, here's a good little regional linguistic thing here. Steve's mentioned something about The family room. Oh, that's the blob. That's the family room to you guys, to you Yanks. And we in the Midwest do not say the family room. Do you guys say family room? Is that a
Yeah.
thing in your house?
We don't have a family room in this house, so
We just call it a den here.
Okay, that's a good one. I didn't even think of den. We call it a living room.
no, that's a different room.
Yeah, den is different than a living room.
My grandmother would call it the sitting room. We had the living room and the dining room. And then the kitchen. Yeah, we had no family room in our house. I don't think any of my friends did either. I think we all refer to that room, what you're referring to as the living room. But that you guys think that's something else, huh? That's interesting. Next week on the Fallout feed, linguistics talk. Tell us what your living room / family room / sitting room situation is. We're off of sandwiches finally, guys. Holy shit. On to fucking living rooms. Oh, I'm so glad you brought your Vem Captain's blend with you, Steve. That's really good. I'm surprised. Frater, were you surprised to hear he had trouble with the Red Death? What was that about?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on your build.
I punched him with one. I know Leon said he smashed it with one.
Yeah, it usually goes down pretty quick.
That's really weird. I wonder what happened there. Super, super weird.
Maybe he had a couple of wobbly pops before he started the game that day.
He's calling you out, Steve. Right on. Thank you so much for your feedback, Steve. He's mentioned the kiloton rifle, and you're right. It's easier to buy than do all the ablution quest and all that. And the kiloton rifle is better than the one Sister Mai gives to you. What was it called again? You mentioned the name. You're right, Steve. All right. Do you guys have any final thoughts for the show this evening?
Did anybody else get the second set of Vim power armor?
Ray mentioned that, I think, right? Yeah, tell us about that.
It's actually easier to find because you don't have to go in any buildings. If you just head straight north from Acadia, I guess, up the main road, you'll eventually find I think it's in the back of a trailer truck.
Yeah,
and there's a bit of lore there too. I don't remember if it's on a terminal or a node or what, but there's some lore to be read about there.
Nice. Not a wicked shipping truck though. It's a different looking vehicle.
Yeah, it looks different than anything else. Kind of stands out.
Does a fucking hermit crab crawl out of it and try to eat you?
Nothing like that. No, I think there's super mutants nearby though.
Yeah, I need to go track that thing down. I always like going to Far Harbor. North of Acadia on the main road. So it's like on the way to Dalton Farm and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't recall how far up, but you can't miss it if you follow the main road up.
Yeah, it's right across from the national park, or the visitor center.
And what is that one like? Ray and I were having a stupid argument, not argument at all, but I was calling it green and he was calling it yellow, and I was like, "Oh, so there's a third set of armor," and I was just being dumb and confused. The one that I got up in the Vem Pop Factory, if you go to the terminal, you can also get information to turn it into Vim Refresh power armor, which you can turn it, which I think of like sort of a neon green, what Ray was calling yellow. What is the one that you find in the back of the trailer like?
Yeah, it's a neon green, which I suppose could be thought of as yellow.
It's the Refresh.
Yeah, it's the Refresh.
And what benefit? I know you mentioned it last week, Ray. What do you remember? What benefit the Refresh gave you? Was it an AP bonus or something?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, sorry. Bad host over here. Cool. So yeah, hit up Far Harbor, everyone. Again, like Steve mentioned, apologies. It's only one episode because Far Harbor deserves its whole own dedicated season, which we have done in the past, but there's still a lot to the island that we never even covered on the when we did that season on Far Harbor. There's a lot to it. It's a really nice, lush environment, like Mark was mentioning. Just the whole feel and the themes and the music and the fog and everything put together. Yeah, it's a really nice environment. I'm glad, Mark, you chimed in and just sort of gave me that fresh-eyed look upon Far Harbor again. Really nice. So thanks everyone for sending in feedback. Josh, Leon, Mark, Rebecca, Steve, and Jen. And Lee for your server email. Thank you, sir. Craig for your hot dog tweet. So what'd you say? It is a sandwich, according to Ray.
That's my call.
Ray's calling it a sandwich. For October 4th, we will be covering the quest Devil's Due, which is the Salem Witchcraft Museum. Also, Gun Run, which is just sort of up the road there from that, in the same neighborhood as the museum. We'll also be covering Human Error, which is Covenant. I got stuck with here. And if you haven't fucked up your relationship with the railroad, we'll also do Tradecraft. So look for us next week. Before we close off, I would like to mention just any of you out there who were playing Minecraft with us in the Feeds Wasteland. We would like to try to get everyone to start coming back and start playing some more Minecraft again and start building up our resources, all the diamonds that you can find, start making armor and weapons, specifically, bows and arrows and stuff, and get everything enchanted super high that we can. Because for our ASA podcasting 12-hour marathon for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, we want to stream the Feeds Wasteland, like sort of our Fallout feed Minecraft community. We want to stream the end game, sort of like the Ender Dragon or whatever it's called. Michael found the portal to the end of the game. So we want to call everyone back to arms, start getting stuff, get all your resources ready, get lots of bows and arrows. I think that's probably the best way to fight the dragon. Maybe some TNT or explosives and stuff. I don't know. Freighter, what do you think? What's the best way to fight the dragon? Have you done that before?
I haven't done that since they first added it to the game, but I do remember going through a crap ton of bows and arrows and dying a lot.
Yeah.
It was very hard.
Oh, sweet. So this will be really fun. So we need to gather as many people as we can. At one point, I think we had as many as like 8 or 10 people in there running around. So let's try to get some resources collected back together over there in the Minecraft. So, gosh, I don't know when we're actually doing that. Ray, did we ever nail down a date when we're doing the marathon?
No, not yet.
So we need to discuss that still on the side, but I think we're going to do it in early December sometime. But yeah, Minecraft guys, start loading up your diamonds. Start getting your enchantments all together and books and stuff. Be exciting. That'll be fun to stream. All right. Ray, Freighter, anything else that you guys like to get into this evening?
So Merriam-Webster, definition of sandwich: 2 or more slices of bread or split roll having a filling in between.
Or split roll. That's the key right there.
Ding, ding.
See, I was that's the technicality that I was using to claim that it was not a sandwich. But if Merriam-Webster says that counts as a sandwich, then I guess
now for the truly controversial entry. Definition B is 1 slice of bread covered with food.
So doesn't definition A technically almost mean that a jelly-filled donut is a sandwich?
Is it split? It's just sort of like filled.
Yeah.
It splits when you bite it.
Is a taco a sandwich or a hero? What in the Midwest we call a gyro? Huh?
Yeah.
That makes a taco a sandwich.
Well, so the debate would be, so a soft taco would be a sandwich because that is, a slice of wheat bread. But a corn tortilla, maybe not.
So is a wrap a really thin sandwich?
A burrito?
Yep. Got to go with it.
Holy crap. Okay, what about across the pond? They have, they do the pies.
Meat pies?
Pies. Meat pies have to be sandwiches too, then, right?
Yeah, that's pastry.
Pastry. That's not bread.
No.
Pastry, not bread. Bread is. Okay, how does that work? Is pastry a bread or is bread a pastry? Neither.
Yeah, neither. I think they're two separate things.
All right. Okay, well, sorry, I tried to get us off onto living room talk, and now it's back to food talk. We can't get out. We can't escape it. I'd like to thank Freighter calling in for this evening. Very nice to speak with you, sir.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Ray, always a pleasure to speak with you as well.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for Josh, Leon, Mark, Rebecca, Steve, Jen, Lee, and Craig. We'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.